Powered by the Montana Television Network. This is the 10 o'clock news on Q2, Montana's news leader.
Good evening and thanks for joining us tonight. I'm Jay Kohn. Janelle is off this evening. New details coming out now, shedding new light on Thursday's newsroom shooting in Maryland. And tonight, new information about the alleged shooter and the 5 victims who lost their lives in the massacre. The city of Annapolis coming together tonight to remember the victims of this mass shooting inside the office of the Capital Gazette newspaper. CBS's Kenneth Craig has more for us from the scene.
There were outpourings of love and support in Annapolis Friday evening, honoring the 5 victims of the Capital Gazette shooting.
A free press, that's what keeps us free.
Reporter Wendy Winter's daughter greeted mourners at a vigil.
This is far too soon to lose my mother. She was a fantastic woman, a great mother, and an amazing reporter.
The man charged with ending those 5 lives is being held without bond. 38-year-old Jared Ramos is on suicide watch. A woman captured Ramos's arrest Thursday on her cell phone. Prosecutors say he had a long simmering grudge against the Capitol and not only planned the ambush, he turned the newsroom into a trap.
The rear door was barricaded. Mr. Ramos then, as I told the judge, entered into the front door and worked his way through the office where he was shooting victims as he walked through the office.
The Capital Gazette's office is off limits, but that did not prevent journalists from doing their jobs.
As promised, the staff put out a Friday edition of the paper. Former colleague David Emanuel called that incredible.
I don't know how they did it, but I'm proud to see that they did that. My heart goes out to all the families and everybody at that paper because it's going to be a changed place for forever now.
The Capitol's opinion page simply read, "Today we are speechless," and was left blank in memory of their fallen colleagues. Kenneth Craig, CBS News, Annapolis, Maryland.
Police say that Ramos used a pump-action shotgun, which he legally purchased last year. A supercell system out in Carter County, Montana, created not 1, not even 2, but 5 tornadoes last night. And that's not all. It also brought in baseball-sized hail and winds up to 60 miles per hour. Take a look at this incredible footage of the storm shot by storm chasers who got multiple angles. And we actually get a nice view here, if that's the word, for the life cycle of a tornado, from it being very well formed to ropey and stretched out, as they say. Luckily, no reports of injury, but across the border near Camp Crook, South Dakota, the National Weather Service reports the storm destroyed 1 home and a shed and toppled a trailer. Q2 meteorologist Ed McIntosh here manning the weather desk for us tonight. Ed, you've got some additional information about this scary-looking video and what it represents for you in the weather.
That's for sure. As we got into today, they went out and had a chance to go out and damage the survey the scene and take a look at everything that had gone on with that storm. And then they measured the estimated wind based on how much damage the storm actually did. And it multiple touchdowns across the region. It ranged anywhere from around 65 to 165 mile per hour winds as that storm moved through southeastern Montana. And more tornadoes tonight, this time from Gillette out towards Belle Fourche. A strong storm system produced tornadoes there, and in addition, quite a bit of wind and hail, up to around softball-sized hail in Newell, South Dakota. Take a closer look at our weekend forecast coming up in a few minutes.
All right, thanks, Ed. Well, if you frequent the Zimmerman Trail here in Billings to get up around the city, listen up. Zimmerman Trail will be closed to traffic this weekend as city engineers take a closer look at a crack that has developed on the outside lane of that popular roadway, that road that leads from the top of the Rims down to Rimrock Road. Now, a post on the City of Billings Engineering Facebook page tonight says there has been noticeable movement in a section of the road, so the Zimmerman Trail will be closed this weekend. That will allow for a closer evaluation to assess what they say is the potential for failure of the slope and the roadway. No timeline for when Zimmerman will be reopened. Actually, starting in mid-July, Zimmerman was set to be closed down for the installation of a new roundabout at the road's intersection on top with Highway 3, along with general reconstruction. We'll keep you posted. Tense moments today at the Rosebud County Sheriff's Office in Forsyth. It was just after noon when a person brought in an object they thought could be some sort of an explosive device. Following an initial examination, the Billings Police Bomb Squad was notified, and the area around the sheriff's office in Forsyth shut down to all pedestrian traffic. Nearby businesses also were evacuated. The Billings Bomb Squad arrived on scene there around 4:30 this afternoon and we're told took care of the situation. But the Rosebud County Sheriff now is withholding any further information as this investigation proceeds. The case also has been turned over to the Alcohol, Tobacco, and Firearms along with the Postal Inspector. Tickets now available for people hoping to see President Donald Trump next Thursday in Great Falls. The president scheduled to hold a rally at the Four Seasons Arena July 5th. It starts at 4 p.m. Tickets for the public are available at the Trump re-election website, donaldjtrump.com. You can register for 2 tickets, but those must be verified using a mobile phone number. Trump's visit is to campaign here for Republican candidates in the upcoming November general election. That includes GOP Senate nominee Matt Rosendale, along with Congressman Greg Gianforte. Trump's visit to Great Falls will be the first time Air Force One has touched down in Montana in nearly 9 years. President Obama, if you recall, was the last sitting president to visit Montana. He was here in August of 2009 for a rally at the Bozeman Airport. Vice President Mike Pence back in Washington tonight after a week-long trip through Latin America. Just last night in Guatemala, Pence doubled down on the Trump administration's zero-tolerance immigration policy, telling Central American presidents that they need to do more to stop their citizens from illegally entering the United States. Ed O'Keefe is in Guatemala City with more.
This exodus must end. It is a threat to the security of the United States. And just as we respect your borders and your sovereignty, we insist that you respect ours.
Vice President Pence delivering tough talk late Thursday to the presidents of El Salvador, Honduras, and Guatemala. After meeting privately with the 3 leaders, Pence said,
"Tell your people that coming to the United States illegally will only result in a hard journey and a harder life."
That warning of a harder life is a reality Liliana Medina now knows all too well.
Realmente yo no quise que él viajara, porque la verdad, separarse de la familia.
She didn't try fleeing to the United States, but her husband and 15-year-old son did. Earlier this month, somewhere in Mexico as they traveled towards the U.S., her husband died. Now she waits for her son to be sent back from Mexico to this halfway house for migrants. People who cross the border told us that it would be easier to get into the U.S. with a child, she said. Now, she wishes her husband and son had never left.
Here at Casa del Migrante, they'll house at least 2,500 people this year. In this room right now, there's a young family with a 5-year-old boy fleeing violence. They're trying to sort out what they'll do next.
Father Mauro Verzelletti runs the shelter. If he could speak with American officials, Verzelletti said he would tell them,
Invertieran menos dinero.
Invest less money on border control and building a wall, and use it instead on economic development. And Medina says Guatemala's government should be doing more to help the nation's poor indigenous people like her. The president should provide jobs and help poor people so they don't need to flee, she said. Medina doesn't know when her son will return, but she vows to wait until he arrives. Ed O'Keefe, CBS News, Guatemala City.
Montana Senator Steve Daines is visiting Russia this week, although he is not publicly talking about the trip or any of its details. Daines is joining several GOP lawmakers as what he calls a high-level talks between the U.S. and Russia. But citing security concerns, Daines' office is not releasing details. The meetings seen as a precursor to the upcoming July 16th summit between President Trump and Vladimir Putin. That summit set for Helsinki, Finland. Daines released a statement last week saying he hopes to be able to personally assess the national security threat posed by Russia. Daines' office did tell us the senator does plan to be home in Montana in Great Falls next week for President Trump's visit there. Billings Family Services has been serving the Magic City for 112 years, and yesterday the nonprofit unveiled its future home at 3927 First Avenue South. Take a look. Family Services is holding a golden sledgehammer party to celebrate the purchase of this new building and to thank all the donors that made it possible. The organization has been operating out of its current building on First Avenue North for over 130 years and currently serves over hundreds of families in the Billings area. 10,000 Billings area families, as a matter of fact. Its goal in this new building is a lofty one, to grow by over 50% over the next few years.
It's an old building, and we have not been able to really create all the programs and to provide the services that are needed in the community. This has been a vision for 7 years that I've been with Family Service to say we need to stretch and help our community more, and this will give us that opportunity.
Executive Director Stacy Brown telling us Family Services is still hoping to reach its fundraising goal. They have a little over $1 million to go, that is. You can contact Billings Family Services if you would like to help in any way. Still ahead on tonight's 10 o'clock news, we were all Toys R Us kids, but now we're all being forced to grow up as Jeffrey the giraffe turns off the lights one last time. Also tonight, her class may be small, but this teacher's award is on a big scale. We'll show you. And later in sports, if you like rodeo, well, this is your week ahead. Scott Breen sorts out Cowboy Christmas coming up.
You're watching MTN News with Jay Kohn and Janelle Slade. Storm Tracker weather with Bob McGuire. And sports with Scott Breen. This is the 10 o'clock news on Q2, Montana's news leader.